Hi kids, welcome back to our St. Joseph's Corner channel and the Catechism for Kids series. It's me again, your host, Joseph. One of Mary's most famous titles is Mary, Help of Christians. Have you ever heard that one before? For centuries, Catholics have trusted Mary to help them in times of need, in war, in danger, sickness, and especially in prayer. Popes and saints have taught that when we call Mary Help of Christians, we remember that she always points us to Jesus and never abandons us. Mary, Help of Christians in Latin, Sancta Maria Auxilium Christianorum, is a Catholic title of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Based on a devotion now associated with a feast day of the General Roman calendar on the 24th of May, John Chrysostom was the first to describe this title. In 345 AD, Don Bosco also propagated the devotion. It is associated with the defense of Christian Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East from known Christians during the Middle Ages. As the Ottoman Empire intended to invade Christian Europe in 1571, Pope Pius V called on Christian armies for help, and their victory was consequently attributed to the intercession of Mary under this devotional title. Pope Leo XIII granted a decree of canonical coronation for a Turin image of the devotion in 1903. The coronation was executed by Cardinal Agostino Richelme, and the image is now permanently enshrined at the Basilica of Mary, Help of Christians. There are two inscriptions from the first centuries of Christianity in Greek related to Mary: Theotokos, Theotokos, Mother of God, and Bothia, the Helper. The Fathers of the Church referred to Mary as Bothia. John Chrysostom used the title in a homily of 345, Proclus in 476, and Sebas of Caesarea in 532. After the patristic period, 5th century, other persons used it like Romanos the Melodist in 518, the Patriarch of Jerusalem, Sophronius in 560, John of Damascus in 749, and Germanus I of Constantinople in 733. In the view of Johann G. Rotan, the invocation of Mary as Help of Christians is part of the oldest prayer addressed directly to Mary. The Sub Tuum Praesidium, which was found on a papyrus dating, at the latest, from the end of the 3rd century. Praesidium is translated as an assistance given in time of war by fresh troops in a strong manner. In 1576, the Archpriest of Loreto, Renato Cirillo, published at Macerata two litanies of the Blessed Virgin, which he contended were used at Loreto. One is in a form entirely different from the present text, while another form, Alia Litania, Beta Maria Virginis, is identical to the litany approved by Pope Clement VIII in 1601 and now used throughout the Church. This second form contains the invocation Auxilium Christianorum warriors returning from the Battle of Lepanto, the 7th of October, 1571, visited the Loreto, and saluted the Holy Virgin there for the first time with this title. It is more probable, however, that it is a variation of the older invocation Advocata Christianorum, found in a litany of 1524. The first surviving translation of this litany, yet still incomplete, in the Spanish language was recorded in 1621 under the title La Litania Sagrada de la Bienaventurada Virgin Maria in Valladolid, Spain. The Italian religious author Odorazio Torcellino, 1597, and the Roman breviary claim that Pope Pius V inserted the invocation in the Litany of Loreto after the Battle of Lepanto. The form of the litany in which it is first found, however, was unknown at Rome at the time of Pope Pius V. The Feast of Our Lady, Help of Christians, was instituted by Pope Pius VII. By order of Napoleon I of France, Pope Pius VII was arrested on the 5th of June, 1808, and detained a prisoner first at Grenoble and then at Fontainebleau. In January 1814, after the Battle of Leipzig, he was brought back to Savona and set free on the 17th of March. On the eve of the Feast of Our Lady of Mercy, the patroness of Savona, the journey to Rome was a veritable triumphal march. The Pope, attributing the victory of the Church after so much agony and distress to the Blessed Virgin, visited many of her sanctuaries on the way and crowned her images, for example, Madonna del Monte at Cesena, della Misericordia at Treia, della Colonna, and della Tempesta at Tolentino. The people crowded the streets to catch a glimpse of the Pope who had withstood the threats of Napoleon. He entered Rome on the 24th of May, 1814, and was enthusiastically welcomed. To commemorate his own sufferings and those of the Church during his exile, Pope Pius VII extended the Feast of the Seven Dolours of Mary to the Catholic Church on the 18th of September 1814. When Napoleon left Elba and returned to Paris, Murat was about to march through the Papal States from Naples. Pius VII fled to Savona, the 22nd of March 1815, after the Congress of Vienna and the Battle of Waterloo. The Pope returned to Rome on the 7th of July 1815 to give thanks to God and Our Lady. On the 15th of September 1815, he declared the 24th of May, the anniversary of his first return, to be henceforth the Feast of Our Lady, Help of Christians. The 1913 Catholic Encyclopedia article commented that it has spread nearly over the entire Latin Church, but is not contained in the universal calendar. The Marian feast has been celebrated by the Order of Servites since the 17th century. The veneration to Mary became popular under this title in Rome especially, where the feast was especially promoted by John Bosco and Vincent Pallotti. Bosco was an ardent promoter of devotion to Mary, Help of Christians. He built a huge basilica in her honor in 1868 and founded a religious congregation for women under the title of the Daughters of Mary, Help of Christians. Interpreting the painting he had commissioned for the basilica, Bosco referred to it as depicting Mary, Mother of the Church. This suggests a connection to the way in which popes have addressed Mary as both Mother and Help of the Church. Bosco chose this devotion because of its affinity to his devotion to the Church, the bearer of Christ. The Church has traditionally focused on two aspects of Our Lady's help on this feast day. Firstly, the Church focuses in this feast on the role of Our Lady's intercession in the fight against sin in the life of a believer. Secondly, the Church focuses on Our Lady as one who assists Christians as a community through her intercession in fighting against anti-Christian forces. Michael Daniel observes that, while this approach may be regarded as outdated in light of Vatican II, where the world and non-Christians elements therein were seen in a positive rather than a hostile or threatening light, it would seem that it would be naive on the part of Christians to regard all movements and all social trends as either good or harmless. The Diocese of Tuscany adopted it on the 12th of February, 1816. The hymns of the FS were composed by Brandamart. It became the patronal feast of Australasia, a double of the first class with an octave. After the reforms of the Second Vatican Council, it was designated a solemnity to be kept on the first available Sunday on or after the 24th of May, the Fathers of the Foreign Missions of Paris, in accordance with a vow 1891, celebrated this feast with great splendor in their churches. It has attained special renown since John Bosco, founder of the Salesian congregation, dedicated his foundation to Our Lady, Help of Christians, the mother church of his congregation at Turin, on the 9th of June 1868. The Salesians have carried the devotion to their numerous establishments. It was established due to the great appreciation of Don Bosco for this Marian title and the development of the Salesian works in many countries since the second half of the 19th century. The Salesian National Shrine of Our Lady, Help of Christians is located in Stony Point, New York. There is also the National Shrine of Mary, Help of Christians in Paranaque City, Philippines, which is also in the care of the Salesians of Don Bosco. The Church of Notre Dame du Bon Secours in Blois-Seville, France, was also inaugurated under this Marian title, Help of Christians. Dating back to the original church structure in the 13th century, it was finalized in 1840, and Pope Benedict XV ultimately granted a pontifical decree that raised the shrine to the status of minor basilica on the 12th of February 1919. The Abbey of Mary, Help of Christians, better known as Belmont Abbey, is a small American monastery of Benedictine monks in the town of Belmont, Gaston County, North Carolina, outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. The minor basilica of Our Lady, Help of Christians is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. A chapel dedicated to this namesake Marian title exists at the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C., U.S. Under this title, the Virgin Mary is venerated by the Chinese Catholics, particularly at the Shrine of Our Lady of Xishan, the only minor papal basilica in mainland China. In May 2007, Pope Benedict XVI designated the 24th of May her feast for the Catholics in China who face persecution and restriction from the Chinese Communist Party. Although it is commonly associated with the Catholic Church, The Eastern Orthodox Church has also known the devotion since 1030 in Ukraine. When the country was defended from a barbarian invasion in the Austro-Hungarian Empire and among German-speaking Catholics, there was particular devotion to Maria Hilf der Christen, as shown by the Church of Maria Hilf and other shrines, including some in the U.S. As the mother of Jesus, Mary is also our mother. And just as a mother cares for her children, Mary cares for us. That means we can ask Mary for help every day. In fact, we should ask Mary for help every day. So when is Mary's feast day? As we learned earlier, Mary Help of Christians is celebrated on May 24th each year. We can ask Mary for help every day, not just on her feast day. In the Gospel of John, we hear these words, "Do whatever he tells you." These words are spoken by Mary at the wedding at Cana in Galilee. When the wine ran out at the wedding, Mary told the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." And so they did, and it was good. John 2-5. So on this feast day, let us thank God for the great gift of Mary, his mother and our mother, who is always ready to help us follow Jesus with courage and love. Amen. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. God bless you always.